All right, everybody, we're back today for another episode of Brushing Them Back with Colby White. For our regular listeners, you already know Colby's at spring training. He was in the middle of some rehab session and was not going to be able to make the show today. We are still continually trying to get our schedule and his schedule synced together, which has been pretty difficult this time. He and I were kicking the idea around about while he was out of pocket in Florida. We always want to stress local talent in our area, in the state of Mississippi for sure. That kind of spawned the episode today. We're going to do a series about young men and young women. You know, if it's a softball player and we see that they've put up some really impressive numbers and helped their team out, we're going to try to get them on also. But it's called The Moments Never Too Big, and this will be episode 1 of that. It won't run consecutively. But we will try to get as many of them in as we can throughout the early part of baseball season for sure. And today we start with episode 1 in this series with a young man, a junior left-handed pitcher for the Columbia High School varsity team, Lane Robertson. Lane, how are you doing today, brother?
Good.
Yeah, Lane had quite a night the other night. He's first of all, he's left-handed, so he's naturally harder to hit, I was told, because if you're left-handed, it's harder to hit. And then, of course, he had a really good night on the mound the other night. His effort wasn't the only reason they won, but it was a huge factor. Lane's line the other night was a complete game, 7 innings pitched, 17 strikeouts, 3 hits, 1 earned run as a result of a couple of errors. And I was there. He might even hit a batter. I don't remember. I know a batter was hit. I don't remember if it was on he threw it or just threw it. And hey, and just first of all, before we get started, a quick shout out and a quick prayer to the young man that was pitching for the team that opposed them. He took a line drive off the head from one of the Columbia batters, went down quickly, and then was an absolute champ. Got up and walked off. We thought it was super serious. I don't even know if he left the game early. I think he actually stayed in the dugout for the remainder of the game. I didn't never see him again.
I think he left and went and got to the hospital.
I'm telling you, that young man took an absolute shot off the noggin, and I'm telling you, prayers go out to that young man, his family. I hope he's fine. All right, Lane. Let's first of all, let's get into this effort the other night that you had. Have you ever been in that type of zone? I mean, at any, like, go all the way back to when you first started, right out of coach pitch, when they started letting you throw the ball in a little league game. You ever had anything close to what you did the other night?
Never. No. Well, West Marion, that was close to it, but it just wasn't. It wasn't the same.
Well, now, for some of our listeners outside of our immediate area, West Marion is a local county high school that is they're a rival. Well, they're not in the same class size and they're not in the same district, but they are always a rival. Now, what kind of numbers you put up against them?
It wasn't quite like the other night, but I threw 5 innings. I think I had 4 runs, 3 were earned, and I had 5 strikeouts.
Okay, so this is a monumental effort here. I was, like I was telling earlier, I was actually at the game. I knew early that Lane was in some type of zone. He was dealing. How many different pitches do you feature? Because I was trying to figure out everything you was trying to throw, and I don't know, your arm angles and all threw me off with some of your pitch delivers. Like, what's your repertoire? Like, what if you're throwing everything at them? What is it?
Well, a fastball, a changeup, and a curveball, and sometimes slider.
Yeah, the slider you threw a few times the other night because I could tell. And then later in the game, I don't know if it's because you were just so amped up or if you were getting a little tired. You were kind of forcing that slider into the ground quite a bit, and you're making it tough on your catcher, big man. I mean, I understand that slider was working, but man, you was wearing that poor little fell out. I mean, he was doing everything he could do to help you out, and it was just crazy.
Yeah.
Now, that fastball to me, like I said, I was there. It looked pretty sharp. What are you from a radar gun standpoint? Like, what's your fastball sitting at?
Well, velocity really is not the thing right now, but it's sitting about 78 to 79.
Well, I'm telling you, it looked crisp. You were wearing those corners out for sure.
Now the other night, I don't know what it was, but
you were, trust me,
right
it was a little more than that. You was amped up the other night. So. All right, so you're a left-handed pitcher. That's you can go a long way. If you're a left-handed pitcher that's got some pretty decent control, you can go a long way in this game. So when was that? Like, how far back can you remember wanting to get on that mound and throw that baseball?
Summer all last year. We was playing them at home, and Coach Lindsay, he had asked me because Eli, the other first baseman, he was going to go in the pitch. I was like, I want to pitch. And he was like, all right. So I went up there, and then, whatever happened. Won't talk about that much. But after that, it was game on.
Now, before last season, how much pitching had you actually done?
Good bit.
You took it. I mean, now I'm assuming you're like all the other young men around here. You went through the Dixie Youth Baseball program. Were you on the mound throwing from the first chance you got back in Dixie Youth?
Yes,
now
sir.
That'd be what? That'd be 7, 8 year olds, right?
9.
No, that's right. They don't let y'all 7, 8. They don't let that's coach pitch at 7, 8, isn't it? Yeah, 9 years old up there dealing. You never had a Dixie Youth moment anywhere close to what you did here the other night?
Not that I remember.
I tell you what, I would imagine way back then having an effort like that because, back when you guys were little bitty fellas, y'all get up there just swinging at anything. Y'all didn't know they're swinging straight at the ball. Y'all just knew if it came towards you was going to take a hack at it. So
yeah, it didn't matter.
All right, so now that you're an established pitcher on the staff, you miss playing in the field? Because you mentioned the other first baseman. I knew for a fact you'd played some first base in the past. Are you missing getting on that position?
A little bit, but it doesn't matter.
It is what it is, huh?
It is what it is.
All right. So, what else do they let you do? They let you swing the bat a little bit?
DH. Okay.
So you don't have to brag with all these folks listening, but you probably the best DH they got on the team. Probably. Yes, so what's your average sitting at this year?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet.
Oh. He just knows he's the best. He hadn't looked at it though. So you just know you're making solid contacts, what you're saying. All right. So what's like the plan? I know you're gonna continue to pitch. You got another year. Will you be next year? Will you be the ace? Will you be the number one next year? Or all the guys that would be considered? Well, I think you mentioned before we got started that you were kind of like the number 2 guy in the rotation. So y'all's number 1. He's a senior.
Dylan, yes, he's a senior.
Dylan Wallace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for some of our listeners that called an earlier episode, we did a preview episode on Columbia. Dylan was the impact player that was featured in that episode. I noticed, wasn't it Dylan Wallace? I noticed that clubbed a home run the other night when you were pitching.
He did, and then Eli got up to bat right after him.
For the Eli he's referring to, Eli Lowry is that young man. He is the other first baseman. I guess he's the only first baseman now because you told me you've been removed from first base at this point. So the first baseman followed him up with a pretty impressive home run of his own. So where are y'all sitting this season? Like, are y'all where y'all need to be this season as you further prepare for district play?
Right now, we're starting to click with each other, coming as a team because at the beginning, one game we'd pitch and our hitting would be sluggish, and then another one it'd be hitting and our pitching would be down. But right now, we're both of them's clicking.
Now, are y'all a team this season that's being led by a lot of upperclassmen, a lot of juniors and seniors?
Yes, sir.
Now, do y'all have a group of young guys coming up behind y'all that you feel comfortable with next year, knowing that you'll be able to just plug them in somewhere and they can play?
Yes, sir. MT Breland, he'll probably be in the outfield along with
How many? First of all, let me ask you a question. How many freshmen and sophomores do y'all have on your roster right now?
I think we have 6 or 7, and we have 3 8th graders right now.
Wow, 3 8th graders that are playing up with y'all. Oh, so they must be really good.
Yeah,
8th graders playing up is not a common thing. So, all right. So, who? If you had to, like, if you were going to be the guy putting a lineup together, let's say for next season, who, like, of the young guys, the 8th graders that'll be 9th graders and the 9th graders will be 10th graders and all that. Give me two guys out of the 8th and 9th graders this year that you would absolutely have to have in the lineup next year.
Grayson Carney and 9th graders.
Now Grayson Carney would be what grade's he in?
Grayson Carney's an 8th grader.
Oh, he's an 8th grader that's playing up. Okay, I did see Grayson in the game the other night. Played a little outfield, I believe.
Yeah, he did. And then MT Breland, which he's in 10th grade, but
okay,
he could also.
He's a guy you're gonna have next year, is what you're saying.
He is.
So y'all got a lot of holes y'all gonna have to plug next year.
You got John Robert Rogers. He's leaving.
Okay.
Dylan
now,
Wallace.
He's a John catcher. Robert Rogers is a catcher for y'all this year, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then who else?
Dylan Wallace.
He's
the right fielder, and he pitches.
Okay.
Then you got Eli Lowry. He plays first base. And Luke Macello, and he plays left.
Macello. Oh, yeah. I saw all those guys. What about the kid we were just talking about before we got started? He's quarterback on the football team too. Colin Haney. What grade's Colin Haney in?
He's in 10th right now.
Okay. So they're going to lean heavily on guys like Colin Haney and yourself next year to really lead the team. You're going to have to be a leader next year, whether you want to or not, is what you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Got a lot of young guys you got to keep in shape. So those guys you talking about playing up, they're not only going to play up because they're pretty talented, they're going to have to play up out of necessity because you got some holes to fill.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if I asked you this a few minutes ago. You gonna have to be the ace next year, or is Colin Haney? I know he pitches a little bit, so he gonna take some of the pressure off of you. Or?
Me and him will probably be, and you can't forget about Najee Kane and Walker Hobgood. I mean, they're pretty stout too.
Now, what grades are those two young men in?
They're both juniors.
Juniors. Okay, so y'all gonna be a pretty heavily senior laden class next year, then too.
Yes, sir.
You know what, senior? That's big expectations right there, man. Where do you feel like y'all going to? Well, first of all, I know the answer to what you're going to say. Where do y'all feel like you're going to end up this year? Because y'all got everything clicking. You figure you're going to end up in a state championship game.
Yes, sir.
All right, but how far legitimately do you think you guys can go this year?
State.
You think you can make it all the way to state? With the arms and the bats hold up, yes. You think you're going to make it to state? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Who is y'all's biggest competition in y'all's own district?
Sumrall and Purvis.
See, the reason I ask that is because y'all in other sports that Columbia participate in, Sumrall and Purvis are not names that scare you. But Sumrall and Purvis in baseball, for those that are listening that have no idea the legend of Purvis and so especially Sumrall, those are two teams in baseball that are traditional powerhouses in the southern part of the state of Mississippi. And you guys get the fortunate honor of playing against both of them.
Yep.
And y'all get them
Twice.
what, twice a year? Yeah, y'all get them. You have to go to their place, then y'all get them at home. So, how well did y'all do against both those teams last year?
We did pretty good. We just had costly errors
Mm-hmm.
with Summerall, and then Purvis. We gave a fight with them.
Yeah. Well, now to be fair, what was Summerall's record? Wasn't it Summerall last year that won
29-1 or 30-1,
29,
something like
29
that.
and 1? It's kind of tough to beat a team that goes 29 and 1.
They was number 2 in the nation.
Yeah, I knew
last
they
year.
were. I knew they were really good, and they're really, really good every year.
They
But I mean,
are.
last year they were exceptional. Last year, that's why I was during y'all's preview episode with y'all's coach and with Dylan. They talked about Summerall, but they also sounded pretty confident you guys gonna take a fight to them this year.
We will. Yeah, I think we're gonna give them a fight, run for the money. I think we can get them though.
So you figure if you guys get a split with Summerall and Purvis, that y'all in pretty good shape in y'all's district to maybe.
Yes, sir.
Maybe
If we at least split with both of them, we could go number 2 seed again. We could potentially win it, which I think we can.
Because you got to have them arms and them bats hold up.
Yep.
All right. So first of all, I keep looking at these numbers from your last outing. There's no way you can get anywhere close. I mean, I can't see you going back to back with those kind of numbers. I don't know. Like, who is the next? You were telling me the next time you'd probably pitch. So, like,
Saturday.
what team on the schedule does that look like it's going to line up against?
East Marion.
East Marion. You think you're going to
No. I'm not. No, that's next week. I think it's Silliman. Silliman or Oak Forest.
Okay. Well, let's see. Silliman. I think we was talking before we started recording that Silliman was going to be another young man was going to be pitching against them. So it must be Oak Forest. Now, Oak Forest is a school based out of Amite, Louisiana, I believe. A little private school down there. I believe. Sir. I think so. So
yes, Silliman. We'll play them at home.
You never know, man. Got another 17 Ks in you think? You know, the crazy thing is if y'all hit the ball a little bit, you wouldn't have to have 17 Ks, would you?
No, we'd end it in 5.
Yeah, I was going to say you could just throw a sweet little 10 strikeouts and be done with it, couldn't you?
That's it.
Yeah, a little less strain on your arm, too. I do have a curiosity question with 17 strikeouts. You have any idea what your pitch count was the other night?
98.
Good gracious. I told you, man, before we started recording, it seemed like one of them innings, you threw like 40 pitches in one inning. You stayed out there forever.
I did.
What was so weird was that inning, if it's the inning I remember, they didn't score a run that inning.
Mm-mm.
No, it was there was a couple of errors in one inning that resulted in a one unearned run. So what's your ERA sitting at this year?
Well, I had a tough game against Lloyd Star the game before this one. So I think it's sitting at 3.2.
So we won't bring up that a team like Lloyd Star that y'all should have beat. Y'all didn't. We won't bring that up. Not on a live broadcast. We wouldn't do that. Now let me ask you a question. Were you pitcher of record in that game, or were y'all tied or ahead and when they pulled you? Because you started the game, right?
Yes, sir. We were tied we were down like 3 when I could come out, and then they just kept scoring.
Oh, I see. Hey, everybody, look, can't everybody be, 17 Ks every time they go out there? That's what, so this is your snapback game. Like you had a rough outing against Lloyd Star, and then you come in. Now the team y'all faced the other night was a private school out of Macomb, Mississippi, Park Lane Academy, and I'll be honest with you, I had the good fortune of attending both the private school and the public school in high school. Played baseball at both, and I tell you, private school baseball talent wise has come a long way.
It has.
Because I know when I left private school and went to public school, I was shocked at the talent level difference.
Yeah. Well, they're still tough, but they're in a district with you might not know them, but Jackson Prep and Jackson Academy.
Yeah,
and they got some talent. So
yeah, for some of our viewers that have no idea the two teams he's talking about, that is two of the probably the top 3 or 4 largest private schools in the state of Mississippi: Jackson Prep and Jackson Academy. I think Madison Regional Academy, I think, might be up there about the
MRA,
same
yeah.
size too. Yeah, they're pretty big school. Yeah, Park Lane. I have bad memories about Park Lane because I attended Columbia Academy up through the 9th grade, and I had some brutal encounters with Park Lane. I mean, they were just monsters. So
They are.
I'll be
They got
honest
some
with you,
height on them.
I was quite shocked when I watched the game the other night. They had some really talented athletes on that team, and you just
Yes,
made them
sir.
look foolish, man. I mean, you made them look foolish.
I lived on that outside corner heavy
You
with
did.
them.
You did. And you know what? I'm going to commend you about that because I figured, you know, because you're not in the majors yet, I figured as a high school kid, you saw your counterpart for Park Lane get drilled in the head by living on that outside corner. And
Yeah.
I said, man, if he gets off that black, I said, let's see what happens. And I saw a couple of instances during the game where you got a little frustrated and you just reared back through it past them. Like, man, forget
I
this. I'm
did.
going to throw it by them. And but yeah, it's that's what I was telling you, man. A lefty with some really good control. They hard to beat, man. They are hard to beat. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the direction. If you can keep that control where it's at and keep developing that arm and all, you're gonna be all right, young man. I can go ahead and tell you, I've seen a lot of young men pitching in this county, and that effort the other night was exceptional.
East Central had a left-handed pitcher. I don't know what his name was, but he was pretty stout too. But we hung in there.
East Central. Now y'all played East Central this year.
We played them last Thursday.
Yeah, East Central. That's at Hurley, Mississippi, I think it is. I think they're based out of Hurley, Mississippi, down near the coast. East Central, from a talent standpoint, is I don't know where they keep finding those kids out in them woods, but they have had some absolute studs come out of there. Matter of fact, Mississippi State has had 2 or 3 young men that have played baseball, came out of East Central.
They got
2 big power hitters and then 1 really exceptional pitcher. So
they got a Southern commit right now. He plays shortstop.
Yeah. All right. So I know you got a whole nother year in front of you. You got nearly 2 whole seasons because y'all are not that deep into the season so far this year. You've already set your goal for the state this year. You say if the pitching and the hitting holds up, that's where y'all going to be. Y'all going to be playing in the championship game. Of course, if you do that, next season's got to be the same. It'd be a letdown if you didn't make it that far. But from a personal development standpoint, what are some things that between now and next season you yourself personally want to see you get better at? I mean, now I know bigger and stronger. That's the answer for everybody, bigger and stronger. But I mean, besides that, technique, whatever. What do you want to see change, or you get better at? Not change. Everything change is good, but what do you want to see you get better at?
Body language. My body language slacks up sometimes.
Yeah, I saw a few fist pumps out there the other night, but I also saw a foot stomp or 2 out there a couple times.
Yeah.
And listen, I don't know if that's a bad thing. Because I know you find this hard to believe, but about 100 years ago, I was a left-handed pitcher in high school too. And that used to aggravate the devil out of me when I'd make a beautiful pitch and I either didn't get the call or they hit a little old flare out there into the outfield for a hit. They used to aggravate the crap out of me.
It aggravates me to death.
So, but that's not a bad thing. Trust me, the attitude, as long as you don't get that really surly attitude, you're gonna be fine with that. That's just called fire. That's called competitive fire. Is what that's called.
Yeah.
That's not a bad thing. But like from a technique standpoint, you throw how many pitches you said?
98.
What is your best pitch right now? If you had to go into an inning and they only let you throw 1 pitch, what would it be?
Probably a changeup.
Changeup. So what kind of speed differential we talking from fastball to changeup?
Probably 4 to 5 miles an hour.
Holy crap! 4 to 5 miles an hour. That's pretty impressive. And that's because it was weird because I saw a lot of flailing at balls, and I didn't know you threw a changeup, and that makes a lot of sense because it was the same arm slot and everything. I mean, it looked just like a
It
fastball.
is.
So that's pretty good. Now, where'd you develop that from? Is that something you worked on for years, or you had one
Well,
person working with you to kind of help you get there?
I don't know if y'all Larry Knight.
Larry Knight, man. Yeah,
No,
if you live in South Mississippi, everybody knows Larry Knight.
it wasn't really him, but it was like at his facility.
Uh huh.
And Robert Carson, he was an
Okay.
MLB pitcher.
Okay.
And I went to him, I think, at 2 months before we started the season.
Uh huh.
And that's where it developed at.
So he just helped you work with grip and technique and all that, delivery, that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's what I tell people all the time. You don't have to throw the ball 100 miles an hour. If you know how to deliver a baseball to the plate, you can be effective. You know, I tell people all the time, Greg Maddux threw about 83 miles an hour. You know, he might have got up to about 85 or 86, but he was dotting them corners. And then he only ended up being one of the top 10 greatest pitchers of all time. So,
yeah, only.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you pick up some velocity along with especially your delivery, because your delivery is really smooth. I mean, and I'm not just blowing sunshine, you got a really smooth delivery. And the funny thing is that for listeners that don't know, I've known Lane for quite a few years. Lane used to be a stocky little chunky kid, and then it was like a year and a half I didn't see him, and when next time I saw him, I didn't even recognize him. What'd you shoot up about 6 or 7 inches? It seemed like you grew a foot.
Yeah, it was.
And then the next thing I know, because I'd seen you dabble with pitching a little bit up at Dean Griner, the local ballpark there, and because when I saw you the other night, I said, man, his delivery is smooth. And when you were starting to get them early strikeouts, I said, man, these kids ain't got a clue what he's throwing. So
I had to mix up my looks.
So who do you and your catcher work together, or do y'all have somebody calling pitches from the dugout for y'all?
We work together sometimes, and then we got a coach in the dugout. He's calling them, and if I don't like it,
he gives you the ability to shake it off. Like you don't have to
sometimes in certain situations.
He sequences pitches, and then if you're not comfortable with it or you don't, okay, that's cool because I know a lot of coaches, man, that wouldn't do that. They wouldn't give you that flexibility. Yeah. So that's really awesome. All right, so I know you're just a junior, but I know you want to keep pursuing baseball. What's the next step? Like, what would you like to do? Like after you got out of school, is there a certain place you'd like to go play ball at?
I want to go to be close to home, probably Southwest.
Okay.
But really anywhere.
Yeah. Well, what if the development continues and some D1 start reaching out to you? What kind of D1 school would you like going to?
Any of them. It wouldn't matter.
Anywhere gives you an offer? I got you.
It wouldn't matter. Whoever.
I got you. Hey, the JUCO route ain't a bad route to go, man. And I tell you, if you get in the right program, JUCO program with a really solid pitching coach, I mean, heck, I wish Colby was here to preach the praises of his trip to PRC. Man, when he left high school, when he left high school, he weighed like 135 pounds. They had him in the weight room, and the pitching coach worked with him, and he went from a kid throwing 85, 86 mile an hour. He hit 100 miles an hour when he's at Mississippi State. So, I mean, you get with the right program, and they develop. And I don't know what he went to PRC or Pearl River Community College for those that don't know what PRC is. And I'm telling you, I don't know what kind of program they run down there.
They running something different.
First of all, this is a joke, okay? Before the NCAA, or the National JUCO Committee gets involved with this is a joke I'm about to make. So let's qualify that. I don't know what kind of horse steroids they run them boys on down there, but they turning them into grown men in a hurry.
You ain't lying.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Colby, it's sitting at about 200 pounds now. And I'm like, golly, man, but he learned how to get in the weight room. And I mean, is that a big component of yours? I mean, do you hit the weight room pretty regular?
Well, not during the season, but during the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Y'all have a pretty solid off-season conditioning program.
Yes, sir.
Got y'all running out there every day and all that nonsense.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I tell you, I started pitching in high school, thought I'd get away from running, and my God, we run more. When I was a pitcher, I run twice as much as I did when I was a position player.
You do.
Hated that mess. I hate running so much now. The only time I'd run now is from the police.
Yeah.
All right. So the plan is finish up this season with a state championship, get that ring on that finger, and then follow that up with back-to-back state championships, knocking out people like Purvis and Summerall on the way. That'd be like a dream. Would that be a dream finish to the career or what?
It would. Yes, sir.
I'll tell you about the only thing I guess you got left is to throw a no-hitter in high school, and that'd be it, huh? You don't have a no-hitter already on your record, do you? No, I didn't think you had. I thought we talked about this other day. I didn't think you had one yet. Yeah, throw a no-hitter against Summerall to put them out of the playoffs. Well, that'd be crazy, wouldn't it?
It would. It'd be nice.
All right, and then of course you'll want to continue with the college route. Want to stay as close to home as possible. Which but you already said if a Division I comes looking, you go wherever they sent you, huh?
Yeah.
Heck, you go to University of Hawaii.
Really.
You know what I said?
I'd go.
If a D1 like Hawaii offered, you'd go to Hawaii. Well, you just have to move your mom over with you, huh?
I'd fly over there. Yeah, I'd go.
All right. So, man, it's been an absolute blast talking with you, catching up with you, Lane. Wish you all the success in the world.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're gonna keep following you around here because, like I said, I've known Lane a long time, and I love to see young men that I have watched grow up have success at all levels. And like I said the other night, man, you had like I told you on social media, you had a game and you had a night the other night. So I hope you continue to have that kind of success. Man, I'm praying that you don't get hurt, especially arm issues. We don't want no arm issues, not as a junior for sure. So
we take care of it around here.
All right, man. Look, you're a superstar now. So before you get out of here, if you want to share any of your social media stuff where people can follow you, go ahead and do it now before we get out of here.
Hold on.
He don't even know what this man is so locked in. He don't even know what his social media handle is. He's on TikTok and all that other stuff.
My Twitter, it's Lane Rob 22.
Okay.
Just LANEROB 22.
Y'all heard that now. Y'all need to be following him on Twitter because that's what big raw athletes. That's what they do. They jump on Twitter, and of course y'all can find him on. He's even on Old Man Facebook because I tagged him in a post just the other day, and then TikTok and all that other young people nonsense. So Lane, brother, good to talk to you again. I guess me and you'll be catching up during the season. I'll be getting a chance to watch you play a little bit more this year.
Yes, sir.
And hey, we love to have you back on the show, man. Maybe after you throw a no hitter, so we'll bring you back on here. So
anytime. Thank y'all for having me.
All right, guys. That's going to wrap up another episode today. Speaking for Colby in Florida at this point, and myself, we can't thank you guys enough for checking the episode out today. And remember, guys, we need to get that algorithm up. So if you can like and share and subscribe to Sideline Sports Network for us to help us out with our numbers, we greatly appreciate it. And we'll catch you guys next Sunday. Y'all have a good evening.